Arrogant, throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Trying to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defined, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. Hit every bar, even though my bar has been the hardest. The scars on my face, and I ain't always been the smartest. But I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday. Hang with the fellas. Little sports nonsense and whiskey. Pinky, Robert, how are we this fine evening, sirs?
Doing good.
Boys,
good.
I'm feeling great. Show and tell, real quick.
Oh, sure. What do you got?
Well, I did want to say my daughter is the best. She got me all 4 of the LGN Superstars for Christmas. Feel pretty special about that. Hulk Hogan and John Cena.
Now you got to get him signed, but you got to get John Cena to sign it.
Good luck with that now.
No, I'm going to get him to sign my new belt that I got. This got delivered just before the other show tonight, Smack Talk and Raw. Oba.
Oh
Signed by Oba. 16 by 20 poster. Anybody want to take a guess on how much this was?
$20.
Way more than it's worth.
$30. It was on
That's
sale.
solid. Yeah, that's solid. All right.
It was on sale, and he's going to be like the next big thing. So I was like, for $30, I'm in. Give it to me. Oh, all right. I'm done, guys. I appreciate you.
No worries. Nice. I mean, I'm doing great. I've been building Lego like crazy. I got a lot, so now I just need to figure out where the heck I'm gonna put it. So
I love how he used the singular plural to describe what he's been doing. I'm building Lego.
Actually, it is Lego. It is
I
not
know.
Lego.
That's why I said
it's very important.
There's a reason I said I love that you use the singular plural to. Yes.
Very, very important. Very important. So, life's been great. Been lazy. Been watching shows, catching up on a lot of things. So, life's been great. No complaints.
Good Christmas, good holidays for everybody so far this season.
All things considered, outside of what you guys know privately, everything else has been great.
Dude, I got tore up on Christmas.
Yeah, we saw the wife beat you with a chair, man.
That was the next day, but yes.
I mean, you tore up either which way. It happened.
It happened, but I got on to Good Morning Football, guys. Good Morning Football.
You did.
And I won 3 fantasy championships. Everything's coming up pinky right now.
But congratulations, buddy. Congratulations.
When you win your own league after 15 years, there's just something about it.
I will say, I feel like this has been the longest that I've gone without seeing Pinky in person, and it's kind of sad. It's a little depressing.
It's tough on me too, my friend. It's tough on me too.
Sucks.
All right. Gosh.
We got sports, man.
Got a lot of sports. We got a lot of ground to cover. Where do we want to start?
Caleb, where do you want to start?
I mean,
clean shaven, Caleb.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's grown back a little bit over the last week. You know, it takes a little bit of time. It gets there. Man,
you don't have to tell me twice, Caleb.
That's fair. You know, you understand.
You can do it.
Let's start with Jokić. Let's just start. I said basketball was coming back. Christmas has happened. The season is in full swing. The conversation that we were going to have changed in a matter of seconds as of last night. Best news possible. all things considered, just a hyperextension, expected to miss roughly a month at this point in time. I would like to believe the Nuggets are smart enough to understand their playoff seed doesn't matter as long as they get into the playoffs. They will be arguably the most dangerous team if fully healthy. So whether it's a month or 2 months, whether it's now until All-Star break or he gets some games in before then, we'll see. But that's a big deal. MVP probably gone. Not really a need to be worrying about that at this point in time. Unfortunate because it does mean he will miss out on his 4th. And I think if the season played out the way it had been, I would find it hard to believe that the voters that voted for SGA last year because they were tired of Jokić would not have been almost forced to feel like they have to vote for Jokić this year because he's averaging another triple-double on an even more efficient scale. And the Nuggets are winning. That's not going to be a conversation that even needs to be had in any way going forward. Well, Nuggets fans, pump the brakes. Don't even do the what ifs. Let the MVP play out on its own now. SGA, Cade Cunningham, Wemby, maybe. Luka's definitely going to be in it with the numbers he's averaging. The Lakers should right the ship a little bit.
Let's be honest, though. Joker needs another ring for his legacy. Another MVP is nice. But he needs another ring. That's what he needs.
The ring holds more weight, obviously. If he gets another ring, then...
And it's just not your normal ring. It's a ring for the Denver Nuggets. Like, the franchise has been a bottom feeder for a lot of its tenure. So I feel like when you're the guy and you bring a championship and you don't have superstars just, you don't build a big three, I feel like it has a lot more weight to it, in my opinion.
Yes, to an extent. I think the way Jamal's playing this year, he's playing at an all-star level. We'll see if he gets the nod. Now is going to be the time. Jokić is out. Are you going to carry this team or not as the number 2 guy? There is talk that Brown and Gordon will be back potentially on this road trip. So you're talking in the next week or 2. That would be a huge boost. And this is why you went and got Valanciunas, if I'm being honest. One, first off, and it hasn't really come to fruition, was to give Jokić less minutes. And Adelman hasn't really done that.
Well,
now, whether that's Jokić and he's good with it, or they feel he has to be on the court, or they're going to be screwed.
I think that was
maybe.
I think that was the plan before Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown both got hurt.
It could be. That Valanciunas' minutes haven't jumped a whole lot though, even with those injuries. So they're going to now. They're going to jump a whole lot now, and he's a talented big. Don't get it twisted. This guy can go out there and put up a 20-10 on a nightly basis. They're not going to have that same playmaking ability, though. So the Nuggets are going to have to go out and find a new way to win, and they need to do that if these other guys want to show it's more than just Jokić. And come playoff time, it hasn't been just Jokić, but he has done a heavy lifting. So... from MVP frontrunner just a couple days ago, those odds have changed to now out at least a solid month. The implications for that are many. Now, the other thing it does is you go from the Nuggets being one of the top 4 seeds in the West, pretty much as a given, and having home court for the first round, to how far do they slide, or do they slide at all? Do the guys step up? Does the team rally? Are they able to find a different way to play ball without Jokić and they still can win? But if they don't and they slide, who moves up into that area and gets the benefit of having that home court advantage in that first round where they otherwise may not have? And they might have been playing one of those top 4 seeds and looking to be out the first round. Now they might be able to get past the first round because of that home court in a different matchup there. So it's going to mix up the West quite a bit. And how that falls now is I mean, there's still a lot of season left. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, I mean, we're not even at All-Star break yet, so.
No, the halfway point is usually, I think it's like 2 weeks before All-Star break. End of January, right in there is usually when the halfway point for actual games played hits. So there's a lot of basketball still to be played in this season and a lot of things to shake out. But obviously MVP race changes and that Western Conference could get shaken up on a major scale, or maybe not at all. It's the Nuggets are so injury riddled right now that if those guys don't come back and they lose even one more guy, they're going to be looking at a play-in game, potentially, depending on how much time everybody starts missing. And that's just the nature of the beast. When you have that many starters go down, there's not much you can do about it. You just hope you can keep your head above water. SGA becomes a front runner again for the MVP. Luka, I think, jumps in pretty close. If the Lakers can start winning some games, they looked better when LeBron was out. And now they look like they're trying to figure out who and what they're going to be. Because before it was pretty clear Luka was going to run the 2, Luka was going to run as the 1, Reeves was going to run as the 2, potential 1A, depending on how they were feeling on a night in, night out basis. And then LeBron came back and everything it doesn't seem like they have a clear picture on how they want to run the offense. And it does feel like JJ is getting a little bit frustrated with his boy, who's almost treating this like a final farewell tour, in a sense, with some of the things he's been doing since he came back. Earned it, not earned it, different conversation. But the Lakers do need to get it figured out in a hurry, or they're just throwing games away where they could easily jump into the number 2 seed in the West now, especially with Jokić sitting. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch unfold, especially before All-Star break. Because, yeah, they could all of a sudden turn it on after All-Star break. But if you fall too far, you're not able to climb back to where you originally wanted to be.
You only got 20-some games after the All-Star break, so there ain't a lot of time to do a lot of climbing.
Yeah, you gotta get your stuff together. So see what happens there. Oklahoma City's come back down to earth a little bit, and I'm glad we didn't have to talk about any of it, because I would have kept saying that they played the easiest or one of the easiest schedules in the NBA up to that point, and there's a reason their record is what it is, and people would have blasted me for it because, yeah, why wouldn't you? But then out of the other side of my mouth, I would have said, but you can only play who's in front of you. So the record is what it is, and deal with it.
I can tell you exactly how the NBA trolls would handle the situation, Caleb. They just say, he don't know ball.
Yeah. Get a lot of that.
Oh, people are dumb.
That's fine. If you say we don't know ball, let's have an actual conversation. Let's just sit down and converse about the sport and then see what happens. But they're going to come back down to earth. I don't see them having a 72-10 or a 71-9 season when it's all said and done, for a lot of different reasons. But their strength of schedule will eventually catch up to them, that being one of them, I think. Losing to the Spurs twice in 3 games, that doesn't help. And if you show that kind of vulnerability at some point in the season, the likelihood of it happening again is, I think, more likely. Like, those percentages increase every time it happens. So by the time it's all said and done, I'll say they have right around 18 losses, would be my guess by the end of the season. I think 18 is probably where they fall, somewhere in that number. I don't think they get to 20. It wouldn't be surprising if they finish, 65 wins. So, and that's crazy. That is. That in and of itself, especially in the modern NBA, is a high number. So they will be the 1 seed. They will be the prohibitive favorite going into the playoffs. But keep in mind, if Denver's healthy by the time the playoffs start, they'll be percentage points, minimal percentage points behind Oklahoma City. And then out east, Detroit looks good. but they're inexperienced. The Cavs, we all know what the Cavs are, but they're not playing great basketball right now.
Orlando's wishy-washy. I think they have some
Orlando
injuries
and
too.
Chicago, both, they've got some things there where they can be dangerous on nights. I would say Orlando a little more so, but both teams seem to have some pieces that they can play with. New York might be the favorite out east right now. They made the run last year. They've got basically the exact same team. They know what they need to do. It's not necessarily about the regular season. They'll have Madison Square Garden behind them come the playoffs, which is maybe when it's in their favor and they're playing great basketball, so that place is sold out and their fans are there, might be the best home court advantage in the entire NBA. So East is wide open. Boston's lurking. What's Milwaukee going to do with Giannis? Because right now it feels like he's not going anywhere, but there's a whole lot of smoke around it. It's like the compound itself doesn't have any smoke, but people have lit a fire around the entire perimeter of this place, and they're just going to smoke them out, is what it feels like at this point. Like the smoke's not internal, but boy, it sure feels like they're finding a way to still make it that way. So eventually, does he leave? Like if I had to put money on it, I'd say yeah, because they don't have the necessary assets required to rebuild around him after what they did to acquire Dame and then Kuzma and everything else they've done has left them without a lot in the cupboard to work with going forward. So the only option they really do have is to move Giannis, recoup pieces as much as possible, and then reset for the future. And that's, talk about terrible management of a superstar.
Robert agrees.
I'm just not NBA, man. I'm sorry.
We got you. It's all good.
And then there's rumors that Donovan Mitchell could be on the move. It would not be surprising if Cleveland trades him or Garland. I think both could potentially end up on the block.
If they're ready to reset.
I don't know if that means they're resetting or if they feel like, depending on what they get back, what they're trying to do, if it makes them a better all-around team. Because Cleveland kind of has redundant pieces in the backcourt. Now, does that mean you move the best one and try to get as much back as possible, or do you move one of the quote-unquote lesser pieces and try to get more depth in the front court? Or I don't know. I don't know what they're really thinking. But the rumors are such that it does feel like something is eventually going to happen in Cleveland. And then there's starting to be some buzz with Trae Young and Atlanta moving on. If he went to a contender, that could be an interesting move. The problem with that is what contender would he move to? Because all the contenders right now at the top, I would say already have their point guard. And they're all better than, I would argue, Trae Young. So I don't know where that would leave Atlanta and what they would try to do there.
So are we just double checking? Are we done with basketball?
We can move on now. I've gotten a little bit of a fix. There'll be more coming.
I've got a surprise topic for you. We didn't really talk about it.
Okay.
But
hit us. What do you got?
I think we would be amiss if we don't mention it.
Okay.
And I know Robert hates this, but suck it. Colorado Avalanche are on a freaking tear right now.
I didn't want to talk. There's a reason Caleb has not talked about this at all.
I know is
I'm nervous. There's a big break coming up in the middle of this hockey season.
I don't like that. And I don't like that most of our guys are going to go play in the Olympics. I don't like it. And because weird stuff can happen in the Olympics because they care about this is one of the few sports that cares about playing for their country. And but the Avalanche are 29-2-7.
They're on an all-time pace. Historic all-time pace. This isn't a homer take. This is just, as a hockey fan, if the Avalanche are on TV, go watch them because the brand of hockey they're playing right now, dude, it's not only fun to watch, but it is dominant.
They have 65 points, which the Stars, who are also having a pretty damn good season as well, have 57.
Yeah.
The Avs are currently on an 8-game win streak. There's only one team in the Eastern Conference who has 51 points, and that's the Carolina Hurricanes.
Well, the two best teams, it's the Avs and the Stars. And what is the Avs kryptonite, Pinky?
Hey, Robert, guess who's the number one team in their division?
I'm guessing it's the Red Wings.
It's the Red Wings.
Let's go.
They're 23-14-3.
All right.
Look at that.
It's turning around. I like that. Maybe we could be good rivals again, and I can enjoy hockey. But I have too many sports and things happening to pay attention to hockey.
If an Avalanche Red Wings Stanley Cup Finals happen, which would be great because the Avalanche would just steamroll, it'd be perfect.
I mean, I've never been to an Avs game or hockey game outside of CC.
We gotta go.
So I've never
Gotta go.
Never
Avs games are great. Gotta go.
never done it.
So cheers to the Avs. McKinnon's doing McKinnon things. Makar, we're getting good goaltending. This could be the year. The break is.
I'm happy. You guys are happy.
I love how you say this could be the year. Like they've never won the cup before. This could be. We might finally. Nah, it's happened 3 other times. We're good.
Hey, hold on. I may be guilty of wanting more. Okay. I want more. They gave us that one a couple years ago. It was awesome. The parade was great. I want to go to another one. And the whole Stanley Cup, like the run to the Stanley Cup that year was fantastic. Great games, great hockey. The finals against Tampa was great. Like it was good stuff. Man.
I mean, we don't talk about hockey a whole lot, but we all do pretty much agree that there is no greater postseason than playoff hockey.
No greater postseason. All right, Caleb. So thank you for letting me throw that in. Throwing a little curveball at you.
I'm just, you know how I talk about things and bad things happen, Pinky. Like,
unfortunately, you are not wrong.
Look what happened to Jokić. Caleb, shut up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he put that as a topic, and I was like, that son of a.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Why, guys? Didn't somebody
Caleb,
say no?
Shush. Shut your mouth.
That's on me. I'm kind of taking over as producer of the show. That's on me. I got to do better.
Damn.
College football playoffs.
I need to get rid of this, guys. How do I break this? Like,
you're not gonna. Your curse is your curse.
You do the Aaron Rodgers treatment. Do the ayahuasca. You just
24 dark ayahuasca and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, woo. You just gotta have that moment.
Retreat weekend, fellas.
You gotta have that conversation with yourself, but on that ancestral plane type situation.
We might need a retreat weekend. Okay.
I'm just saying, I've heard some things that does things for people that may do something for you.
Might have to. Okay, sorry, Pinky. Proceed, good sir.
College football playoffs start back up tomorrow when Miami gets slaughtered by Ohio State.
Woo! Oh, wait.
I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, I said the spread already on the Ohio State-Miami game is not a good omen for Miami. Indiana 10+ on Alabama, I think, because I think that I said people are underrating them. They're consistent. They play solid fundamental football without mistakes. Oregon, Texas Tech, I said there's going to be a moment, I believe, in the second quarter, middle-ish second quarter, where Oregon has an opportunity to kind of open up the game a little bit. And if they do so, they'll run away with it. But I still like Oregon to win either way. And then I no rhyme or reason, zero reason for this because Georgia's the better team, I would say. But I like Ole Miss in an upset. Is that a good rundown, I believe, is what I had last week? Where are you at, Pinky?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. I want to see the lines. They still got Miami and Ohio State at 9.5. It was 9.5 last time we talked about it. So
yeah, because you go higher than that and people start betting the under and they don't want that.
We've got Alabama is a 7-point dog. And you've got Ole Miss as a 6.5-point dog. So almost a 7-point dog, basically. Throw out those halves. They're a dog. Look, all I know is if Carson Beck remembers how to play football, I think Miami can at least give them a game. That's all I'm saying. I don't expect to win. So
I feel like,
Ohio State, Big Ten.
man, I might be wrong, and I don't necessarily enjoy saying this, but Ohio State feels like they might be on a bit of a mission to put a statement together.
You think? What was your first clue, Caleb?
Just some of the quotes that are coming out of that camp right now, like, "Yo, we just came down here to win a game and go back and do some business."
Bro,
they talked to him about the Indiana game. Yeah, we'll see him again. Like they are.
they're
like,
about
okay.
business.
Like, oh man, this feels like I don't know.
Indiana, Ohio State.
That's the poison, right? Sometimes that's the poison, and then the underdog comes out. But I just don't. I don't. Sorry, Pinky.
Hey,
What Caleb said.
Miracles happen. Sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. All right, it's possible.
I think that was last week in the 6-3 game.
It was 10-3.
Whatever it was.
It was ugly. That's for sure.
Whatever it was.
It was ugly. I felt bad. My boss watched that game, and I felt bad for him. I was like, "Ooh, I'm sorry. I had a hard time watching that game, and I'm a Miami fan."
You didn't say the line for the Oregon Texas Tech. Is that 2.5 or 3?
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5.
That's the coin flip game that everybody is unsure about. And that is solely reliant on Texas Tech's defense and Oregon's inability to look dominant this year.
Texas Tech is 2.5-point dogs at the Orange Bowl.
That's only because it's a neutral field down there. Is that the Orange Bowl?
The Orange Bowl. So Miami and Ohio State is the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
We got the Orange Bowl for Oregon and Texas Tech. We got the Rose Bowl for Alabama and Indiana. I like that. And Sugar Bowl is Ole Miss and Georgia. Robert,
right there in Atlanta.
Can you pull up the game times?
I can tell you right now.
Okay.
Alabama, Indiana is the tomorrow night's game, right? If I remember correctly.
Now he's like, I don't know.
Well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember right, it's Indiana, Alabama tomorrow night. Oregon, Texas Tech is, or I'm sorry, I apologize. Ohio State, Miami is tomorrow night.
Yes.
Oregon, Texas Tech is 10. Alabama, Indiana is the 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock game. 2 o'clock, and then Georgia, Ole Miss is the night game.
Gross.
6.
6 o'clock for Georgia? Is that?
Yes.
Gross. I want to watch the Alabama Indiana game, but I've got a closet to rebuild.
So sounds like you do that during the Oregon Texas Tech game then.
Yeah. I don't understand the problem.
You haven't seen how much stuff we have in our closet.
Yeah, but you have a dog that gets you up at 5 a.m. I don't understand the issue.
I mean, if you start at that point, you could take a nap. You would be done, and then you could take a nap before IU Alabama kicks off.
Providing solutions, willing to take them is on you.
That is true. That is fair. That is very fair.
Overcome the objection.
God, I want Indiana to win this game so bad. I want them to win this game so bad.
Indy.
I think it'd be
Ohio
just a great
State
story.
Rolls, plus a couple touchdowns, Ohio State. I like Indiana by 10. It's going to feel like a close game. But you know how 10 points can feel like a huge difference or it was one possession kind of thing, Pinky? I think it feels like that one possession, but they have that little bit of a bubble there. Oregon, Texas Tech, I do like Oregon with some decent points. I'm kind of scared to say it, but I like Oregon by 17. I don't like Texas Tech's offense, and I feel like for some not really good reason, Oregon's offense finds a way to get rolling against a really good defense. And then Georgia, Ole Miss, like I said, stupid. Maybe it's just because I want to see Georgia get upset. Maybe it's because I like the Ole Miss story. I like Chambliss. I want to see him upset Georgia, a field goal kind of thing. Like maybe Georgia has the ball late and just can't get it done. But Ole Miss, I like in a very close upset. That sounds so terrible saying it out loud. I'm trying to speak it into existence.
Gross on so many levels.
So we'll see what happens. I am very interested to see how Mendoza looks. I think that's the biggest thing I want to see right now is how Mendoza looks after winning the Heisman in the first game.
Mendoza
moving forward, just looking at playing the game now, none of the media that has to go with that run. What do you do after you just beat Ohio State?
Mendoza right now is currently having job interviews right now.
So is Dante Moore.
And so is Dante Moore.
And if we're being honest, there's a lot of people saying Ty Simpson balls out in this playoff run. He could end up as the number 1 pick.
Is he eligible to come out?
Yeah. Saying isn't. Simpson is.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, what have I said about Alabama's offense? It could, at times, arguably be the best offense in the country. And a large part of that is because their quarterback's balling. Inconsistent, though. But then again, more
it just happens almost every time. Every time you talk up a quarterback, I watch the game and I'm like, oh, they're terrible. Like they have like the worst game when I'm watching to see how they're doing.
I'm not talking up any of these quarterbacks. Let's be very clear. And I did not talk up this class this year, did I, Pinky?
You did. You have not.
Nope.
So easy with that. Okay. Easy, a little bit. Although, quick side note that'll transition us. Is Tyler Shue good? Is Kellen Moore a genius? Is it a little bit of both? Or is it kind of a fool's run and they're going to need to find a real quarterback?
So I'm going to put it to you this way. I think Kellen Moore is really good.
Yeah, okay.
I do not think Shug is really that great. But Kellen Moore has gotten some good football out of him. And that always leads you to that point of, is this the ceiling for Shug and it's not going to get any better? Or is there some room for growth, right? Now, I think he's 26 or 27.
Yeah, 26, I believe.
He better get there really quick. He don't, by the time he's done with his rookie contract, he's in his 30s. And you can play into your mid 30s depending on how you play the game, but I don't think the Saints move on from him. I don't see any way that Kellen Moore picked that guy. He's gotten some good football out of him. They're probably rolling with Shug another year. In fact, let's be honest, as we talk about our next topic here, I feel like the Saints should automatically just win this division right now because they've played better football than the Bucs or the Panthers the last month of the season.
No. And this is why. This is why. Because there's some crazy scenario, and I haven't gone down the rabbit hole just yet. And I will before the week's end. But there is a scenario I just perked my ears up enough to overhear that if the Bucs, if Carolina loses, I can't remember. But Atlanta has a way to still win this division and get into the playoffs, apparently.
Wrong. Atlanta's completely out.
That's not what I heard.
No. So I got the breakdown for you because I saw it. The Bucs do not control their own destiny. If they win on Sunday against the Panthers and the Falcons win again against the Saints, the Panthers will automatically win the division based on tiebreakers.
It would create a three-way tie, wouldn't it?
No, the Panthers still have the tiebreakers. The Panthers would win the division even though they lost this game. That's the weird scenario. If the Panthers have they win.
No, I'm saying record-wise, it would be a three-way tie at the top of the NFC South, right?
No, I think the Falcons are only the Falcons. I think so. Yes, the Falcons would be 8-9, but they don't hold any of the tiebreakers. That's why they can't win. That's why
So
they are
that's
out.
what perked my ears that I was overhearing. Basically, they can play huge spoiler to Tampa. So if
Correct.
Tampa wins, but if Tampa wins and beats Carolina, they tie record wise. But if Atlanta wins, it then takes Tampa out and puts Carolina in.
Yes.
That's absurd.
Yes, and that is why the Falcons winning last night was the worst thing for the Bucks.
That's so crazy.
Because
That is so crazy.
Before last night's game, it was
the worst thing for Matt Stafford.
It was like beat the Panthers and you're in if the Falcons lose to the Rams.
Okay.
But because the Falcons won and it creates all these tiebreakers, if they win again next week against the Saints, that's what's causing the problem. So the Panthers could basically lose the game and still win the division and get in.
So the Saints and the Falcons are playing spoiler for one or the other
of their division
for Tampa
opponents.
or Carolina.
And again, I would say that they probably hate Tampa more right now.
That is hilarious.
So
dang, crazy.
I kind of, as we talk through this, Tampa's played really bad football the last month of the season. They really don't deserve to get in.
How has their offense gotten healthier
and worse?
And they've played worse.
Like, they played better with Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson as their top two wide receivers.
No, Ibuka and Johnson.
I mean, Ibuka's been out there, but since week 5, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, but that first 5 weeks, we were talking about Baker as an MVP candidate, and they were, 4-1?
He was amazing. And then all of a sudden, teams were like, oh, we can double him.
Then Godwin started coming back. Then Evans came back. Then now McMillan's back. And they've got all their running backs back. And they look like a lot worse.
I am hoping that the Bucks lose and fire Todd Bowles. Because as a defensive coordinator, the defense isn't good either. So, there's nothing for Tampa to hold their hat on. All I know is when Liam Cohen was there last year, that Bucks offense was humming.
It was humming the year before, too, with Canales.
Right. Both guys got head coaching jobs. You could probably make the case that they should have just let Bowles go and kept those guys in-house. Oh. I like that conversation though, Caleb. But yeah, it is the Falcons play ultimate spoiler, and they can get the Panthers into the playoffs.
And does Raheem Morris keep his job? The amount of talent on that team and what they've done the last couple of years. What are we talking about here with Atlanta? Because is he safe? He just needs to find a new OC to finally make sure that offense does what it needs to do on a consistent basis. I mean, Bijan Robinson's leading the league in overall yards, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts is the number 2 tight end in the league, arguably, this year. At least yards-wise, maybe. I know fantasy production he's number 2, but that's
the defense has played better over stretches. I didn't like Raheem Morris the first time he was a coach. I don't think he's a good coach now. Yeah, let him go. You were too inconsistent. You had games like this or that game against the Bills where you were like, what is this team we're watching? Because it's not the team we saw last week or the next week. They were so inconsistent all year. They should be the NFC South winner this year based on the talent they have. Raheem Morris didn't get it done. And again, I think it just comes back to some guys are really good defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators. There's nothing wrong with holding that job, getting paid that money, and not having the responsibility of head coach.
Yeah. Why does it usually seem to be the defensive guys that do that? Because the names that jump to my head right now are all defensive guys that seem to be in that category.
Well, the problem you have with defensive guys is normally they don't have a lot of input into the offensive game plan. They're relying on the offensive OC to be basically the offensive, run the whole ship. And then on top of that, if the OC does a really good job, they get a head coaching job. So you got to find another guy.
Ben Johnson.
Right?
Yeah,
Ben Johnson,
to me,
right?
I just think it would be easy to be a defensive head coach and be part of the offense because you can go in there and be like, all right, I'm going to be the other team's defense. This is what I would be looking at. This is how I would be attacking us. These are the
Right.
things I would be looking for. How are we going to counter that? And you would be there as the devil's advocate every week. Like, that seems like it would be a really good thing to do. Doesn't seem like many do it, though.
That's the rub. That's the rub.
Hmm.
So, Robert, now this is something you can talk about. What's kind of this is how the playoffs currently sit. There's a couple changes that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking here?
Denver plays who again this weekend?
Play the
Chargers with Trey Lance starting.
With Trey Lance because Herbert's out. So I definitely think the Broncos will still hold this. I don't see them not winning without, unless Herbert comes in. I really don't see that. So I think that's awesome. I'm excited for that. Just as a local guy. If
as a Broncos fan, it's okay to say.
Yeah, as a Broncos
fan.
I find it very interesting that McVay is not going to sit a lot of the starters for the Rams for this weekend when they go to play. I think that might be a mistake for the playoffs. I don't know what that'll do.
They can still change their destiny, though, right? Their seeding?
Because the Seahawks and the 49ers play this weekend. And if the Seahawks lose, I think they lose the 1 seed.
If the 49ers win, they are
Yes.
the 1 seed and
Yes.
the division champs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think
Which
you're
is-
right. If Seattle wins and the Rams win, I think the Rams can get to the 5th seed. And they'd rather see Carolina, I would think, than Philly in the first round.
I'd rather see Carolina or Tampa than Philly. You never know what
I
Philly
would say
team's coming.
they're starting everybody.
Yeah.
I who knows what Philly team shows up? Oh.
The other thing is for the Midwest division, the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions. The Lions were exchanged for the Bears, and it's very evident that's Ben Johnson. So, much love to him. I miss him dearly. It's very apparent the lack of offensive cohesion this season, even though Jared Goff did have a pretty stellar season overall. Just they didn't win the games.
He just was not. You got to protect him, and their O-line was banged up. But losing Ben Johnson's a big deal.
It's surprising seeing Carolina. It's surprising to see Jacksonville. I'm again just happy for whoever gets to the show. Really, for the fan base that gets there. There's a lot of teams that haven't been there in a while. We're still waiting on Josh Allen to get his. Who knows what Caleb Williams is going to do in the playoffs with how they've been doing. Like, there's a lot of great stories that are happening and developing as the weeks and things get closer. So I love this setup because I'm even if the Broncos lose, I'm not going to be disappointed either way, because if this is the grid, let's go for it, because it's going to be I'm excited for the playoffs this season. It's not, let's see how the Chiefs are going to do or anything like that. It's what's going to happen, because it's been already a freaking maelstrom of a season. Like, 1 week you've got this, the next week you've got all these other injuries following the team that may have had a better chance. So it's great to see all of these different diverse options. It's exciting.
With all the injuries the 49ers have had this season, I am shocked at how well they've played the last 3-4 weeks. Like, they've been on a tear offensively. Like, they've only punted once in December.
In the last month, yeah.
I think I've said 2 things about San Francisco all year. One was when Mac Jones was playing and people are like, see, this guy's a starter in the league and he's better than Brock Purdy. And I said, shut up. Like, that's a joke. Purdy has come back and since proven that, that's
he's
your
still
starter
Mr.
for a reason. The other thing I believe I said last week, might have been last week, maybe the week before. I think it was last week. They might be the best offense in the league right now.
They're humming.
I mean, Kittle sits, Tongas comes in, keep cruising. We're good. He keeps running the same routes. Everybody's fine. We got multiple receivers to throw to. Christian McCaffrey will run, and Purdy will just laser beam dart you all game,
So
and we're good.
the 49ers have one key problem, though. They can't rush the passer at all on defense.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little
And what
bit.
have we said for many weeks now, Pinky, about the NFL? It's wide open this year, and everybody's got a flaw.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Whew, I was like, okay, hold on. You always put me on a pop quiz. I'm like,
I know, it's fun. It's fun. We do it to each other all the time, and then we second guess, and then we look like, do we even know what we talk about with each other? No, we don't. So yeah, you not being able to rush the passer in the playoffs is not usually a good recipe to move forward.
If they play the Bears again, it's going to be a very similar game. Because that game was literally that was an awesome. I loved it. What a fan. That might have been one of the best games of the season. If you like offensive football. If you like defense, you probably hated that game because there was only one stop. And the stop was literally they made him kick a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown. That's how crazy that game was.
Game for sure.
I think they said it was the first game. The first game since, there was a stat to it. It was the first game that was tied 7-7, 14-14, 21-21, 28-28,
nice.
35-35. It was the first game since a game 30 years ago that had that.
Cool. Love that. So. Just back and forth. I will say two more things here that interest me very much. The first thing is those bottom two matchups, if that's how this lays out, and you see those two divisional setups like that, that would be very interesting. Third time, same season, those games always become even more intense than they already are.
I think this one on the right, the AFC, is going to change because I believe if Buffalo beats Miami this week and the Chargers lose to the Broncos, they will fall to the 7th seed, and they would go to New England, and Buffalo would go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, so there's still things that'll move around. But if that were to line up, that would be the first thing that pops into my head there. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The second thing is Trey Lance and Malik Willis this week. Arguably, possibly, very favorably, may or may not be playing for the starting job of the Pittsburgh Steelers next season.
I don't think Malik Willis is going to play. That shoulder was pretty busted up when he didn't finish the game last week. So
he did. He came back in. Yeah, he did.
Not after the shoulder. He was done. That's why they lost that game. It was almost done when he threw his shoulder out. He went into
the locker room, he got a shot or something, and he came back out and got back in.
He probably shouldn't risk it.
Or he was ready to go back in, but they didn't get the ball.
I don't think they got the ball back, but
maybe that's what it was. I think he's playing because I don't think Love is. I think he's still going to be. We'll see. But would that not be interesting, Pinky, if that became a storyline, especially in the offseason, considering who I said Pittsburgh should have drafted all those years ago?
It would definitely be. I mean, until Monday night, Malik Willis probably played the best football on Sunday. He was in full control of the offense.
They probably win that game if he doesn't go out on that possession.
I think they had a chance to win that game.
It kind of feels like that. The momentum was rolling in that direction, and then that changed everything. But, boy, remember what people were saying about him at Tennessee? And I kept saying, man, I'm seeing flashes. They just need the right people in there. Keep the dude. There is no reason to go draft. And then who did they go draft? And I was called an idiot for thinking they should keep Malik Willis. And they drafted Levis. Now they're on Graham Ward.
Malik looked pretty rough his first year.
I'm not saying he didn't. Again, he needed to grow, and I kept talking about that. Now, talk about a great place to go grow with arguably a quarterback guru here in the floor, who got a start as a head coach with our boy Aaron. Now look what he's doing with Love. You bring Malik Willis in to learn under that system with a quarterback who's ahead of him, and he doesn't have to have the pressure of being the guy. It's a good environment to go learn some football.
Caleb, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no chance Trey Lance gets a starting job anywhere. But Malik Willis going to the Steelers, because he's awful. He's looked awful in almost every game he's played in, man. He just doesn't have it. And I think he doesn't have it here. Physically, I think he can do what needs to be done, but he doesn't have it up here.
I think we'll see what he looks like this weekend.
But
we'll see what he looks like this weekend. But I think I've seen some things where people are going to be surprised by him this weekend against Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville has to play. If they lose,
Trey Lance is playing the Broncos.
What?
Trey Lance is playing the Broncos.
I didn't mean against Jacksonville. I meant based on if this were to be a matchup. You're talking about Jacksonville against LA Chargers.
Herbert's playing in the playoffs. He's just sitting this game.
I know. I'm just saying if that were to happen, like if you saw that, it would be a situation where that defense isn't such that I think Trey Lance could do some things. So now, sorry, I didn't do a good job of getting to this point. With them playing against Denver this weekend, I think he has an opportunity to show if he's capable of playing in the league. And being able to sit a whole season behind Herbert with John Harbaugh, I do think he's going to surprise some people this weekend with his play. And look, the reason I say Pittsburgh and one of these two guys is because there's not going to be a lot of options this offseason. And I don't think there's a quarterback in this draft that you're going to go get and he's going to be able to start for you over one of those two guys. So, Aaron come back next year? I don't think so.
I think he's done.
You're not doing Mason Rudolph again. Come on. We already know what he is.
The Steelers are going to have two options. If Malik Willis is a free agent, Malik Willis and Mac Jones are probably the two options that they have. And the Steelers are in the same place they've been for like a decade.
Real bad.
They don't have a quarterback that is consistent enough to want to play again next year. And they win. Somehow they find themselves in the damn playoffs again, to where they're not high enough to draft one.
Well, again.
And you know how people always say, like, it's okay, you can trade up. I was like, no, you can't. That's not always the case. You have to have a willing you have to have a team wanting to get out of the early top 10 for you to get in.
There has been opportunities to trade up. They just don't feel like they need to use the picks to do so. And that's part of the issue. We've touched on it. I think, as crazy as it sounds, and I love Tomlin. I think Harbaugh's a great coach. I don't think they're bad coaches. It's wild to say, but I think it might be time for that new blood to be injected into those organizations. And part of the reason I feel so strongly with it, maybe even Tomlin more so than Harbaugh, is Harbaugh has almost shown a more willingness to adapt and change. Where Tomlin keeps hiring these guys to be his coordinators that not like they've been successful other places. They've been ho-hum guys. He hasn't brought in a whiz kid ever. He hasn't brought in anything to make that offense look like it can evolve going forward. Defense has never been really an issue, obviously. So if that keeps being the case, and you keep doing this veteran, it's okay to be just good enough kind of thing on offense and think you're going to win by your defense all the time, I think you missed the ship on the evolution of the game. And can it be done? Yes. But your defense has to be absolutely elite. And your offense has to be mistake-free. And they haven't had either one of those things.
I'm going to tell you right now, this graphic will change because it's going to show Baltimore there at 4. Even if Snoop Hundley plays, Baltimore is going to run all over Pittsburgh. Derrick Henry is like, that's a freight train.
You think they finally figured it out last week?
The last 2 weeks, Derrick Henry has been on a tear.
No. He's been on a tear the last 2 weeks. They won 2 weeks ago instead of him missing the last 12 minutes of the game. Did he have good numbers? Yeah. But I'm not going to give him the tear status because they didn't put him back in the game to finish it off. But the numbers would suggest, yes, he's been on a tear.
Well, they pulled him out for one series, and that was the stupidest thing they could do. But
he didn't play the last 12 minutes of the game. He scored a touchdown, and then did not play the last 12 minutes of the game.
Because then they got behind, and they used Ali or whoever in the passing game.
Keontae Mitchell.
They use Ali on third down, so it's a different guy. Keaton Mitchell is who they brought in for their first and second downs, and then they bring Ali in for the third downs, which, again...
Also stupid because Derrick Henry has proven he can catch the ball. So I do not understand why he's not a 3-down back, but whatever, dude.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is winning this game, even with Snoop Huntley.
That's interesting. Okay. Let me throw this out then. Along those same lines. Why is there so much smoke around the fact that people want Baltimore to move on from Lamar? And I know we talked about it last week and the benefits and the cons and all of that stuff, but it's one thing when it's just a fun rumor to kind of throw out there and be like, yeah, this is why it might make sense. And if you move on from Harbaugh, you reset. But now it sounds like it's like.
Let me give you an analogy of a player. And he's very dear to my heart, maybe your heart. But there was a time that Broncos fans wanted to get rid of John Elway.
Yeah, well, that was a very stupid small minority of Broncos fans.
Right. But again, when Lamar has been good enough to be dominant in the regular season, he has faltered in the playoffs. His fault, Zay Flowers' fault, Derek, the blame can be passed around. But at some point, people want more. Now, I would call those people idiots.
Okay.
Because even if I'm still not and I think Lamar's turned into a pretty darn good passer, I'm still not sure he's got a great OC.
Time out. Don't forget your thoughts. Sorry, had to do this. People, that's a big deal for Pinky to say that. So, for him to say Lamar's turned into a pretty good passer, that's a big deal because this is somebody who said he was a running back playing quarterback. So just pay attention to what the man's saying right now because he is trying to give an honest take in which he's rethought the player's abilities.
I've just seen him grow.
Fair.
So his previous OC.
Sorry to interrupt.
His previous OC is in LA, and his new OC Todd Monken has gotten some good play out of him, but I still feel like if Lamar had Liam Cohen or Sean McVay or LaFleur, Shanahan, the growth that he would see as a passer would be exponential. To go along with what he can do as a runner, when healthy, he is the best running quarterback that we've ever seen. So he's an absolute weapon. But I can see in some moments he has shrunk a little bit, and I could see some fans wanting that. But then again, it's guys, that elite starting quarterback does not grow on trees. And that's where teams have to do we want to let Tua walk or do we want to pay him $50 million a year? Well, the fear of what's next is let's just give him $50 million, right?
So wild the way GMs think.
Right.
Nah, man, you ain't elite.
We're not in that job money. Though, right?
Somebody else can pay you that. If you want to play for us, we'll pay you what your value actually is. That should be the conversations, and they're not.
Now, I think that's an easier conversation to have when you've got a good OC that can coach up quarterbacks. LaFleur, if the Green Bay Packers wanted to say, you know what, we're not going to give you $50 million a year, Jordan. We don't think you're worth that. We think you're worth this. Take it or leave it. Do I think LaFleur could still get pretty good quarterback play from someone else? Yeah, I do. Would it be at the level Love can play? Probably not.
You know what? Up until this season, I'd have fully agreed with you. And I would have actually used a different example to give that. And it would have been the dude, I don't know if it's further north. I think it is. I think Minneapolis a little further north than Green Bay. Maybe. I don't know. But a head coach up there with the Vikings, I would have used as the primary example of, yeah, man, like if you're asking that and you're not worth it, I'll let you bounce. I do not hold that sentiment anymore after this season, Pinky. If you have somebody that you truly believe is your dude, and if that's what Miami did, and they really believe Tua was their dude, good for them. I don't know how you would have thought that, but then again, like I thought Sam was a dude, and everybody told me I was crazy for years, and now everybody's saying, "Damn, I wish Minnesota had just paid him." So
Instead of the injury bug, JJ McCarthy.
And JJ played a couple good games coming back, and then got hurt again, fractured his hand. So that's even more dangerous because he's showing these flashes where it's like, oh, yeah, he might totally be what we expected. We're just going to have to wait a little longer for it. Or he may always be hurt and you never know. Or he just showed you a couple flashes and fool's gold you. And like there's so many variables and outcomes still there. And that's, I think, what scares a lot of people, Pinky, like you were talking about. But to me, I would rather deal with the variable of the flashes and see what the potential turns into rather than you've shown us what your top level is and I know that's not enough, or I know that's not the right level of talent or the right type of talent that I want to go succeed.
As a GM, I just think it's a tough decision to make. And again, there's so many cases where you're just like, are you really worth that? Like, can we build the team around you if we're paying you that much? Do you make everybody else around you better? And there's just not that many. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that really do that. So a lot of people get into a situation.
There's no quarterbacks that do that, Pinky. And I would say the reason for that is once your offensive line goes, you're screwed. And I don't think enough teams invest into the offensive line really, truly on the level they should. Whether it's not having a good staff to coach them, or not having the depth to protect you because you know you're going to have injuries, or just not addressing it at all and constantly going late in the draft and minimal in free agency. But I mean, Jared Goff is a great example. Look at the numbers he's putting up. But some of those numbers are hollow because the offensive line has been such that you haven't been able to protect in times of need, or the run game hasn't been consistent enough to get the win, and you've been thrown from behind a lot. Like, there's issues here, and that was a good offensive line to start the season, but like you said, injuries caught up to it. So, and you and I, we talk about it, we pound the table, trenches matter, and not enough teams take that to heart and take it seriously, and it shows on a lot of weekends. But look at the Broncos. There's a lot of people who say that offense is not very good, but that offensive line is one of the best. And it makes sure that that quarterback stays on his feet a majority of the time, and they have an above average, it's not a great, but an above average run game. And that's why, whether that offense is great or not, it's able to produce because the offensive line is able to do its job, play in and play out. And if you have that, then you can actually run an offense. Right. You look at Carolina, I would say their offensive line is inconsistent, and that's part of their problem there. And there's some other issues there, but that run game at times looks like it was the most dominant in the league as a run game. But where's it been the last, 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, offensive line is literally like, and this is where, we could have the conversation. We need to move on to some nonsense stuff that I'm excited to talk about. But we could go back right now and say, would the Las Vegas Raiders be a better team if they had drafted another O-lineman at 6 instead of a running back? Because drafting a running back at 6 didn't help them win games because they couldn't open up holes for him. Right? Could be.
I mean,
right?
In those situations, it's tough because that's a team that has holes everywhere.
They do. Like, they get better anywhere.
Multiple defensive linemen. It's not just like we need to shore up the offensive line and we can get like our left tackle and then some guard or something later. Like, they need like a whole offensive line and a quarterback.
If you think about it, though, like
wide receivers and
anything would have made them better, but as we've talked about, running back's a luxury pick. Like they could have gotten production from Tootin in the 5th round or wherever he went, right?
I'll keep going back to it. The best example for me is still going to be Cincinnati. And yes, I had to, and I feel like it's okay to retract my statement a little bit, but not back all the way off of it. Because they did make a Super Bowl with Jamar Chase, right?
They did.
But it could be argued they lost that Super Bowl because they weren't able to protect Joe Burrow. And had they given him another second, a half second in the pocket on that final play, that ended up being the final play, they maybe field goal win. So, and then the injuries he's had, he hasn't been on the field. If your star quarterback isn't on the field, that's already a huge issue. So having a wide receiver doesn't matter. They already had T. Higgins. It's not like they were without a wide receiver. So to me, that is still the best example of it can go either way. And you can take that star player and make your offense or defense supremely, insanely talented and nobody can guard you, but you're not going to be able to protect your quarterback. Or do you make sure you can protect your quarterback and maybe don't have all the weapons? And we'll never know because it's not like they made a Super Bowl without Jamar Chase, right? And they had Penny Sewell instead. So,
right.
But to me, I'd still rather have that blindside protection than that outside down the numbers presence. If that's what I'm picking between the two, right? Like, and Joe Burrow, he's proven how good he is. Like, that's a quarterback, Pinky. As you were talking about earlier, there's not many in the league that make everybody around him better. That's one of them, though, right? Like Joe Burrow's one that raises all high tide raises all ships kind of thing. That's Joe Burrow.
You want to know who the top teams were giving up sacks?
The Bengals.
So the Raiders were number 1. They gave up 61 sacks.
Dang.
Obviously, they sucked and they had horrible quarterback play this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The New York Jets were second with 59 sacks. Also, same thing. Pretty poor quarterback play.
And no interceptions.
The defense did not help out with getting the ball. The Vikings gave up 58 sacks.
Damn.
And then the Chargers gave up 56 sacks. And the Titans gave up 55. The least sacked team was the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix with a rate of 1.19 sacks per game.
Some factors there. It's a quarterback who
pretty good at getting away from pressure, getting rid of the ball.
He can throw quickly if he needs to. He's not going to hold on to it a whole lot. If he does, it's because he's moving out of the pocket and scrambling a little bit, which I think he's a little bit more nimble than he gets credit for. I'd throw Brock Purdy in that conversation too, for that matter. I think they're a lot more similar than people maybe want to give them credit.
Right. Brock's got some movement.
So, yeah,
49ers have allowed 24 sacks.
Yeah.
Just 5
I know
more,
there's names being thrown around because they're first-time coaches and stuff, but if we're talking about like a true coaching job, like, is this not Shanahan's best?
It's pretty good because they've had some injury issues in the past, and when they have, like, they've just been awful. And then next year they go to the Super Bowl.
They win. They have their own destiny. So they win this week, and they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I would argue if you're the number 1 team in the NFC this year, you're the number 1 team in the NFL.
I'm actually I'm pretty worried for the Seahawks this weekend, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because their offense has not played well the last month of the season.
It has been hit or miss for sure.
Like, I know I'm a Jackson Smith and Jibba fantasy owner, and his fantasy stats just did this.
Dropped off.
For the second.
Odd.
And again,
I know a lot of people are saying it's because people figured out Sam Darnold.
Right. Well, no.
It's more about. I'm not going to deny he's not letting the ball go the same way he did to start the season, and maybe that's just him being a little bit more conservative and understanding what the defense is and being a smart veteran quarterback and knowing, hey man, I'm a bit of a gunslinger. I'm going to try to avoid some of that. Maybe that's what it is. Or the other side of that coin, like people are trying to say, is he doesn't trust his eyes and he was never that good to begin with. And this is what happens when teams figure him out. That's hard for me to believe because you got a whole year of tape on him from last season, right? So wouldn't teams have figured him out already to start the season?
I believe that game is the game of the weekend. The Seahawks 49ers game.
That's ESPN Saturday, right?
Saturday night. Saturday.
ESPN?
It's Saturday at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
That is the game of the weekend. I am stoked for that game. Stoked.
Be a good game.
So, all right, boys. Let's move on to some nonsense. Let's have some fun. And before we go into our weekly review of Fallout, something came to my attention today. That Robert probably mentioned it. I probably forgot. We're getting a new Oceans movie with all the original cast.
Mm-hmm.
Say what?
It's been slowly progressing. Yes.
George Clooney talked about it today or yesterday, or it popped up in my news feed, and I was like, I got so excited. I love the ocean movies.
Ocean's 14, really?
Yeah. I do.
Dude, I watch them. They're on all the time. Those instantly go on.
Those are so
whatever
great.
last channels I'm watching. That is instantly on.
I enjoy the female version as well.
It's not bad. It doesn't have the same feel to me. It doesn't have that.
It's like for me. It's like a straight to Disney DVD movie. That's what I think of.
I understand what you're saying. It doesn't have the. They needed to do more with the building of the core group, because what makes the ocean movies so great to me is they have that Rat Pack feel. Mm-hmm. They've got that core feel, and then you kind of build around that core. And if you get to be part of that core, or you're part of that circle somehow, you're in the circle, whether you're in the inner circle or not. And the female group didn't feel like that.
The supporting
Ocean's 11 had that from the very first one. You know what I mean?
The supporting cast of Oceans.
It felt
more
organic.
Was really good.
It felt forced with the women.
And maybe that's because it came out during the Me Too movement, and so it felt like they were just trying to do it to satisfy something. It's a good cast. It wasn't a bad movie. I thought they all played off each other well. I just felt like you didn't really care about the characters per se, like you did in Oceans 11, 12, and 13.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for Oceans 14. Oh,
that'll be cool. I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm all in. I mean, there hasn't been a really good heist movie, and the Now You See Me movies got pretty close. I do enjoy those, but
those are good.
Movies are classic.
I do like those.
I still need to see the third one.
I haven't seen it yet either.
But that wasn't on my I need to go see in the theater. I'll wait for that to come out.
Yeah, that's the one. Robert, did you have any more nonsense before we talk Fallout?
Dude, can we just talk about the botch rollout of these Marvel Doomsday trailers? Like, they're awful, bro. I don't support this.
I don't like it.
I'm not a fan. I really
Although I will say the new one that came out with Thor was pretty heartfelt. Like, I felt it as a father. Like, I felt that. So, like,
you want to know how botched it is?
You haven't even seen it. I know, because that's why I have been very quiet about it for this exact reason.
And I know they're out. I'm not gonna go out and search
Well, and that's the thing is it's not the 1990s anymore. You're not gonna get the first trailer for Star Wars Episode 1's coming out with this movie. I want to pay my ticket and get in, see the trailer, and get out. It's not like that anymore.
Well,
so for
first
Disney
of all,
to market,
hey, any dumbass who's complaining that they bought a ticket and then that trailer didn't come out during that whatever movie, that Avatar, I think it was you were telling us, Robert.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and eat your money. The fact that you would buy a movie ticket just to go see a trailer is already your problem.
Right.
So right there, I have zero sympathy for you. Lose your money and I don't care.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing is Star Wars fans did that back in 99. We all know that. It was a huge thing. Fast forward today where you have, again, we're in the information age. Media is at the palm of our hands at any given moment. And so to exclusively put that in a movie theater chain, not to mention in mostly IMAX showings, it's not a great look. You're not helping yourself, you're hindering it, because the Marvel universe right now is already struggling.
I know a lot of people are trying to blame Disney. I am on a very much new path, Robert, where I think Disney, and I could be completely wrong. Just a new thought I've had recently. The likelihood of it ever being proven true or false is slim to none, because we know, Hollywood works in very mysterious ways. But I am now under this impression that Disney very much allows each kind of studio to do their own thing, and they trust in the heads. So
To
if
a
there's an
degree,
issue
yeah.
with what's going on, it is very much the heads to blame. Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars. Not Disney, Kathleen Kennedy. Marvel,
I don't.
this is not very much on Feige. All of it, very much so. And the reason I'm saying that is because Zootopia was fire. Zootopia
Yeah,
2.
But
Really fucking good.
But that had a chance. What I look at some of these things and why I blame Disney for a lot of what's happening with Marvel specifically is the oversaturation of Disney Plus, show. And then you're not doing anything with these other movies that you're
But is that
releasing
Disney or was
don't-
that Feige?
No, that was Disney because
I don't think it was anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think it was Disney. I think they understand very much so, and quality over quantity. I think Disney's kind of always understood that. I think what's changed though is streaming, and these heads of these studios having the ability to say, this is what I want to do, and them allowing them to then do it. I think Feige wanted to do all those projects. I don't think he was pushed to do them. I think he had projects that he wanted to do. He put them out and they failed miserably. Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do the Star Wars the way she did them. She approved them and such that, and they failed miserably. What happened when they started succeeding again? They pulled her reins back. It's well known. And who did they start giving the reins to? Filoni and Favre. That's who started pretty much running things, by all accounts, and things started going in a much better direction. So, and I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong. But I am starting to believe that it's not as much Disney as we previously thought. It's more these heads having full control and being allowed to have green lights and doing whatever they want, and them not having the business acumen to know when to say no. And now these studio heads are having to step in and be like, no, we can't do the streaming the way Netflix is. We're not going to make something for a year and a season and have great ratings and then be willing to dump it just because we don't want to pay for it anymore.
Right.
And the other thing, like, to counter it is you also have a situation where you have the DC side of it. James Gunn's not green lighting anything until he's happy with something.
Isn't that a weird concept? What? You mean I'm not going to start making a movie until I know I have a script that I actually want to make?
And that's why I think to some degree, yes, Feige does have a responsibility in it, but I still think Disney's still the maniacal overlord, and they needed content for a streaming service to rival. And Marvel was coming off of major box office milestone history success, and they knew they could capitalize. Oh, this is the new Marvel hub, and we can get it at home. Well, we can do that because the Star Wars need wasn't there. When Disney Plus launched, it only came with Mandalorian. There wasn't anything else. And then you have Andor come out later. Well, when we had Disney Plus start, you had Falcon and Winter Soldier, you had Loki, you had all of these other things that were already in place for Marvel to roll out these shows to come out. And that was it.
But see, those were already kind of pre-planned though. I think it's all the extra fluff, and I think the fluff came from the studio heads. I don't think it came from Disney. But
that's and there's a lot of still like the dynamic of streaming that people are still navigating. I mean, really, there's a whole generation that grew up with Stranger Things, and we got 5 seasons. Like, it's a bit crazy, like, that it took a whole decade for this. So, I mean, some of these other things, it's like people are starting to not care because you're taking too long. You're not creating a compelling story enough for me to continue to follow years and years and years. And
I would
that's
much
why
prefer lower quality visuals with good episodic storytelling than that gives me like 20 episodes a season. And it goes every season. Every year I get 20 episodes year in and year out for the duration of whatever it is.
you know what?
Rather than 10 brilliant visuals with great storytelling, but I only get a season every 3 years.
Well, and that's the thing with and I'm looking for this right now because this is a perfect segue for what we're going to be talking about here in just a moment. Is you know, all of these things of timelines and production costs and we need to get on everybody's schedule. So one of the few shows that we've been talking about, you know, and we're gonna also get into another one, was the new Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad series Pluribus. Well, in the timeline that we're gonna have 18 episodes of Pluribus, we would have gotten 62 Breaking Bad episodes. Like, just think about that for a second.
That's what I'm talking about, though, dude.
Like,
the way it's changed and the fact that Hollywood's like, it costs more now. No, it doesn't. It's the way you're filming. Go back to actually filming.
Yeah.
Actually making a movie behind a camera instead of in front of a computer, and you would have the ability to cut costs exponentially, probably.
And that's why, you know, House of the Dragon.
Also, side note, why does it cost so much to do these visual effects on a computer? I don't understand how that...
Transformers from 2008 or whatever it was looks better than freaking most of the newer Marvel movies from the last 5 years. Just gonna say that.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's a crock of shit. It's so people can work less and make more kind of thing. That's truly what it feels like.
Which leads me to my next thing. You have something people care about. You have something people want to see. Fallout Season 2 is rolling, and not only did it come quicker than most seasons, it looks fantastic. I mean, the production quality got amped up for sure because of its first season success, and it is very apparent. The storylines and things that are being set up and the actors that they're bringing in, I'm very excited for what's happening. This week's episode, with it being all about the Brotherhood and things, I'm all for it. Because you're seeing all of these other worldly things happening while you still have the mystery of what's going on in Vegas. There's so many things that are happening with the show that not only from as a video game fan, but just as a cinephile, this show is hitting all the right things. It's got everything, and I'm loving it.
I'm going to say one thing, though. Because there's so many moving pieces, I'm not getting enough of one thing that I really hate this. Like, I can only consume one episode at a time. Like, it's driving me nuts.
I mean, Game of
because
Thrones
when you're giving me 7 minutes of Walter Goggins and Lucy walking around, the ghoul and Lucy walking around, then you're giving me 5 minutes of what's his name in the Brotherhood, and then you've got the one guy that was trapped and he unfroze everybody. Like, it's moving. Like, I need to consume the whole thing all at once.
But
I just need it. Like, that's pissing me off more than anything.
But we didn't really get anything from the Brotherhood outside of the last few minutes of
nothing.
Episode one. So now we're transitioning to his story.
Totally disagree with that.
No.
I'm give you set up a whole lot to give you what the Brotherhood itself truly is.
I'm talking from episode 1. What Pinky's saying is all these interchanges. Well, the episode 1 was all about Lucy and Goggins and all of the backstory stuff. Well, now we're getting caught up with the Brotherhood and things. So yes, we had those interchanges because we've already gotten into where the ghoul and Lucy are. Now we got to go back to the Brotherhood. And I feel like they did a pretty good balancing of it to where, okay, now we're not necessarily being left behind, but I do think we're going to get a more centric episode here for tonight, or for this week, I should say.
Does it come out tonight?
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool, because I've got some time Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so let's go.
Isn't it
Yeah.
Thursdays it comes out? Is it
No,
Tuesdays?
I believe it's Tuesdays.
Yeah. Anyways, the so I didn't play the games, right? I'm just kind of.
I did not play the games either, Caleb.
Learning as we go. It's fun. I love it.
Oh, it's tomorrow. It comes out. Sorry.
Okay, tomorrow. So there was a second bomb. How many bombs? Because
Like
there's the
whole
big one. There's the
country.
one that starts all of it, apparently, and then
Like
there's
the
obviously a
entire-
second
like,
one because Max's
country.
family gets hit by that second bomb.
Well, it was nuclear.
What's
Fallout.
this?
Literally, there was not just two. Like it was the entire country got bombed. Like
Well,
the
so
US
that's
is
what I was leading to. There was
multiple.
maybe I should ask
bombs.
it this way: not necessarily two bombs, more two waves. So is there the first wave where we saw like LA and everything is what we're seeing, but that bomb that hit LA happened everywhere across the country, and then there was a second wave that they then released again because they're trying to clear out everybody that survived the first one and make it just them again?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out for the storyline is why that city was nuked. Why did her dad do this?
And that was
Because
LA again, basically. Ideally,
Yeah.
kind of thinking
Shady Acres, right?
Shady Acres.
So there's another reason why her dad was told to go nuke this because it
Right.
was because he did it remotely.
Right.
It wasn't
And so-
anything. And
but
that's
he's
where
supposed
who's
to be
this
like
other
a junior
person he's
agent. So how does he have
talking
the
to?
power to be doing that? Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I'm not trying like there are things that I'm theorizing on that can give spoilers, so I'm not trying to get too far
because
into
you
it.
played the games, so
Because
you've
I've
got
played the games and I know
Okay.
the settings, so I kind of
I
have
appreciate
context.
that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're watching this together. I don't want to spoil anything.
So you'll
it's
allow
not like
us to theorize and play along with,
right.
and then we'll find out what's true and not true. I like that.
Because there's even been moments of the show where like they've lifted script from the game and I'm like, "Oh, hey. Okay. All right." And all these other things. So it's this is so great.
I have a theory right now that very much so is that and I'm gonna draw a blank on names now, but the New Vegas head guy that kind of knew everything and that Goggins had come to kill him or whatever.
Are you you're talking the guy with the mustache, Robert House?
Yeah, the guy that drops all the bombs.
Okay, yeah. The new guy we met with the radio things. Yep.
What's his name?
House. Robert House.
And he's the guy that like owns Vegas, right? And he was so rich, he basically created a bunch of missiles to blow everything out of the sky and
nuke-proofed
keep
Vegas.
Vegas. Okay.
He nuke-proofed Vegas.
Him and the ghoul's wife and daughter are together, and they've been a thing this whole time because they basically thought that one, he was gone, and two, that guy had basically all the plans planned, and it was going to be part of his plan to have them be part of him. I think that's where we're heading to. That's what the ghoul's going to find, and it's going to be in. I have not theorized past that point. That's what I've gotten myself to thus far, Robert.
So good. This is
And they will not be in Vegas. They will not be in Vegas. They will find her dad in Vegas. They will not find his family, but they'll find out that his family's still alive, but they'll have to go somewhere else.
there you go. It's a good theory. I like it. Pinky.
And I'm loving Maximus' story. The fill in the blanks to his past that we found out with his dad
so good.
and him getting thrown in a fridge, like, completely changes the way
So
you look at that
good.
character.
So good.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, Pinky.
I was gonna say I feel like they're definitely leading towards him having to have like that moment of, do I continue following the Brotherhood or am I gonna turn on the Brotherhood for Lucy? Like that's gonna come around. It's
Oh,
gonna
him
happen.
and that, is it a chick, dude? His best
don't
friend
know.
or whatever in the
I
Brotherhood?
wasn't sure.
Okay. There's a mustache, but we're in Fallout, so I think it's a chick. But everything that happens.
Open to interpretation, I guess.
Fine. His best bud there. I think they go and steal the fusion reactor core. He makes it out. She doesn't. He doesn't. But he makes it out. But I think that's what that's coming to, and how that plays out. I think I think he's going to be his arc, and then I think the dude who we just got introduced to for the Brotherhood is like arguably the leader of all the Brotherhood, maybe. That
Who's
dude
also
seems like
in
he's
Star
going to be a
Wars.
really fun character. Yeah.
And Eternals.
I already feel like that's going to be a super fun character, and him and Maximus are gonna not butt heads. They're gonna kind of
they're gonna mesh.
Yeah, there's gonna be something there where they both like not necessarily that he'll turn on the Brotherhood, but maybe he had already had bigger plans that he's trying to get to, and he's using the Brotherhood. I don't know. There's gonna be something there too, but Maximus is stealing some shit because that's what he does. He tries to do the right thing in the worst possible way.
Right. Like, it's just, and the best part is like, as I mentioned, we waited 1 year and 8 months for this. That's it. Not
I can get
quite
behind
2
that.
years.
Well, I mean, coming from someone who grew up on standard primetime cable TV, I should only have to wait 4 months max.
The renewals, the mid-season renewal.
Yeah, dude, you get summertime to figure your shit out, and I better have new episodes come fall, okay?
Facts.
So anything above that, I am always not going to be happy about, but I can at least appreciate that it was less than most that we've had to wait for recently.
No, honestly, I'm all for it. Great shows. I even recommended it to a coworker at work today. He's like, I need a good show. I'm like, Fallout. Get through the first season.
Yeah.
Season 2's rolling. You got this.
Also, is Lucy's brother now a cult leader? Like, did he just form his own congregation and they're just going to go out into the open world?
Like father,
That's
like
what it
son.
kind of felt like.
Like father, like son.
He walked out there and he's all, it's beautiful. And they all think he's a senior manager and they're now junior managers that earned, like, that's the story he has now created for all of them. So how long does that play out? That's going to be hilarious.
Well, until they run into people in the world who are evil, and
oh yeah, on the dunes is where that one doctor dude turned the guy into the ghoul, right? In season 1. So they've got like all of like an hour before shit hits the fan.
it won't take long. It won't take long.
And that's real world time. I'm talking like real world time. They have an hour before they're all screwed. Good luck. But it's going to be beautiful for that first hour.
I'm so excited. We've got 6 weeks of greatness.
And then the brain's dead. How big of a thing is that going to be, Robert? Because that feels like that's a big deal.
It can be.
That feels like that's a really
crucial
big
roles.
deal that we're not even touching on right now.
Well, there's
But to
repercussions
me, as soon as I saw it in the trash can, I had 2 thoughts. I go, yeah, about fucking time. That should have happened in like the first fucking 5 minutes when he said, go get in cryo tube and I'm not letting you out. Like, well, you can be dead and I'll figure out what I'm going to do afterwards. And then 2, that felt like the dude who was, or at least the system that was rolling through every plan that needed to happen currently for Vault Tech. And so House may think everything's kind of running as it should and is going to find out kind of in a very unhappy way that things are not. Like, this will finally be the first time that something happens that he wasn't planning for.
Yeah. There's so many open threads. There's so many possibilities. And I think what I'm more excited for is when we get to some of the more brutal monsters as we get in through this season that I know are coming.
All right.
I'm excited for the rest of the world itself because New Vegas is one of the best set games of all time.
Well, and they just opened up the entire western United States, right? Basically from the Mississippi West has now been opened up into their world by bringing in the Brotherhood from where they're each located around the country, if you will.
Yep. And
So-
now they're talking about it's how they
Who's
interpret
tapping?
the codex.
Stop tapping.
I'm not tapping.
There's a tapping.
That's
me.
On the-
Caleb.
It was a nervous
Caleb.
tick. Leave me alone.
Stop tapping.
I'm excited. It's fun. I'm loving this, and I'm actually really happy I didn't play the games because I have no idea what to think, and I haven't felt that way in a while.
I'm
about
excited for
something.
Macaulay Culkin to show up.
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking like, we know he's in this season, so what kind of role is he really gonna have?
We'll see him soon. He's coming.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Robert, final thoughts, sir.
Well, we've got this that we're watching. We'll have the final season of The Boys that we'll be watching together. Pinky, you and I will have Paradise Season 2 coming up very soon. TV watching is happening, people.
Paradise. Your wife would like that one. It's on Hulu though.
Which will soon be now just Disney Plus because Hulu's dissolving.
So I
I
can
haven't
stop
even heard
paying.
of it. I'll have to.
I can stop paying for Hulu.
Well, stop paying. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be paying.
No,
Disney.
you
I-
can't stop paying for it.
I pay for Hulu.
I know, but they're just going to morph that cost into Disney Plus as a whole. Your cost isn't going away, bud. Just deal with it.
Just deal with it.
Okay. We're gonna have to have a real conversation right before The Boys starts because I'm almost done with Gen V.
I gotta start that.
The
that's
I haven't
my list
started
this
that
week.
that has on The Boys.
I
going
haven't
forward
started
is
season 2 of that yet at
Whew.
all.
Good stuff. You boys need to catch up
Um,
on that then because there's gonna be a lot to discuss before
I-
The Boys even.
I need
starts.
I need football season to get over. That's what I need.
I mean, which is good because we don't really have any big movies that are coming out. Pinky,
Football
that we gotta go
season-
see.
Football season and wrestling take up almost all of my time. My
Well,
hour.
you know,
I got an
baseball would
hour
be
commute.
the same way if you watched all the minor leagues too. So maybe with wrestling, just watch the professionals instead of the minor leagues.
Oh, the minor league's better than the professionals, bro. I'll tell you that right now.
That's a problem. That's a big problem.
NXT is really good. So
Man, there's like no good movies until March. I'm really disappointed.
yeah, I keep paying for this AMC thing, and I'm like, I don't even go. I need to go see Anaconda this week. That is my goal. I'm gonna go see Anaconda.
Let me know how that
Pinky,
is.
final thoughts.
Dude, Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
All right.
You know it's good. It's good.
It's not worth theater.
Final
but
thoughts.
yeah.
Hey, boys. I'm a homer today. Broncos, baby. We're going to get that 1 seed. It's amazing. No matter what happens, nobody, except for Sports Nonsense and Whiskey, predicted the Broncos to be 14-3. Okay? We
Let's
did it.
go.
We
That's
did it.
right.
Not Caleb, but me and Robert did.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's get it, baby. Yeah. How about you put that in your pipe and smoke it,
Caleb's checking.
ladies and
Like-
gentlemen of America?
He's like, damn it, they did do that.
No, I'm just looking at a couple things. I mean, if we want to even the score back up, what do we want to talk about Detroit real quick, or do we want to end on a high note?
I mean, we kind of acknowledged that when we did it anyway, but we still went with it.
There's some things on here where
This might be the most accurate one we've done.
I don't know if accurate's the right word, but this might have some of the most correct points within the essay. The essay as a whole is still trash.
You might need to put. You might just need to do an analysis of that, and you come back and let us know. Caleb.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's something
Hey.
worth looking into.
Broncos #1 seed. Let's freaking go.
Hey, what ifs are really fun. There's going to be more to come. Your boy's learning AI. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but it might be used to create some spicy takes for
Dude,
fun
I
and
love
back
AI.
up what I've got. Fallout, awesome. Go watch it. Gen V, really good. Go watch all of it and The Boys because season 5 is gonna be off the hook. Star Wars retconning the sequel trilogy.
I've seen some of that.
There's a whole lot of rumors going around about it right
now.
now. Will it happen? I find it hard to believe, but it will be interesting to see what they do moving forward with Ahsoka and the like, because there are ways they could do it pretty easily.
I mean, I would be thrilled.
It would be interesting. So
I can't see them doing it because Ryan Gosling's Starfighter is set in the sequel trilogy universe.
yeah, but that could be used to set off the new universe of that sequel trilogy.
No.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's just fun to feel like there's some quality coming back. And maybe it was always out there, it just wasn't stuff we watched. But Andor, Fallout, The Boys, Robert and Pinky have talked about some other shows that, you know, a majority have liked that even if I wasn't a fan. Invincible. There's been some stuff coming out where it
Twisted
feels like
Metal.
we're starting
That
to
was a
get
great
some
show.
more quality over just quantity that gets thrown out there and hope that people will watch it kind of stuff. So that's what I'm excited about going forward. On that note, there is a shit ton of sports coming up starting tomorrow. There already has been with bowl season, but tomorrow there's a bunch of bowl games on. Then you get the playoffs. Then you get the playoffs all day the next day. Then you're going to get more. Then you're going to get more. And then you're going to get the NFL. NBA's rolling. It's a good time of year. Spend that quality time with your family, loved ones, friends, inner circle. Sit down, watch the games, shoot the breeze, throw on some Fallout, discuss some possible theories. Let it flow.
Ooh.
Let it have fun. Come hit us up. We've got
Stranger
some
Things
stuff out there
finale,
right
ladies
now
and gentlemen, tomorrow.
Hey, do it. Let us know. You like, follow, share, subscribe. We appreciate you immensely. If you don't, why not? Go hit the buttons, please. We appreciate it. Until next week, we're out.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. Hot take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild side.